morning, everyone. Chill Girl Chrissy here. Welcome to the Chill and Heal Show. We're here to fuel your mind, body, and soul with goodness. Open up, share, be real, be raw, overcome, let go, and simply live a joyous, chill life. And we had a great conversation last week with Jonah Wheeler, state rep from Peterborough, District 33.
Yes, ma'am.
Welcome back.
Happy to be back.
Oh my God, I'm so great. I just re-listened to our great conversation, and it was just, we need more of that across New Hampshire and across our country. Is just real common sense, caring conversations, deep topics that sometimes make people feel uncomfortable. But you know what? When we do things with our hearts open, kindness, and common sense values and respecting everyone, I feel like we can come to some common grounds in the craziness that is a little much nowadays.
Absolutely.
You know?
Absolutely.
Yeah, so I appreciate you coming back, and this
Happy
is so
to be
great.
back.
Yes, and you are in between two committees, and so Jonah is state rep. You've been in office 3 years?
My fourth year. So December of this year will be my fourth, yeah.
Okay, so 4 years. You're only 22 years old.
Yep, I'll be 23 in March.
Happy birthday.
Thank you.
So awesome. So, I mean, we covered so many great things in our last conversation. Is there any place that you want to pick up on?
Where did you want to pick up on?
Okay, I think that we had talked about the wheel of power and privilege, and which is something that I've lived here my whole life. Oh my gosh, I'm adding up our ages. I'm like more than double your age. Born in 1970. Love people, I mean, for me, I'm just a Manchester girl, and we've had, so this wheel of power and privilege that has been pushed upon all of us in the past, I don't know how long it's been going on. I wasn't aware of it until I became an alderman. And I'm like, what is this? To me, this is a pie chart that divides us up and doesn't bring us together. So I think that the words like inclusive, they might seem like they're including everyone, but it's actually doing opposite. And that's my feeling on it and my perspective on it, because my mom is Canadian French and a couple other things. And then my biological father is Mexican Spanish. But I was actually adopted by my dad, who was Jewish, when I was 2 years old. And so I grew up in the Jewish community of Manchester, but I'm a Manchester girl, and yes, I do believe in Christ. So I feel like I'm very colorful. I always say that. I'm very, very colorful, and everyone is important. But I understand also that, there's racism within races as well as overall racism. And for me, seeing this pie chart, it hits a nerve and it hurts my heart. Because for me, living and growing up so I grew up in the Beach Street area.
Okay.
Beach Street area. I went to Beach Street School for 1 year when I was a little girl, and then off to Webster School. So there was French, there was Greek, some American blacks, so what is the difference between African, American black, Haitian, aren't we all a little bit different?
Absolutely.
In the sense that, I don't categorize someone as white, even though, you have to check something off. Because I'm like, well, where do I belong?
Yeah.
Because my mom is Canadian French, so I guess that's white, but then I'm Mexican Spanish. And then
at the end of the day, we're all human beings.
Right, isn't it about
Yeah.
being human?
Yeah, we're all coming from, a variety of different ancestors and backgrounds and cultures, but we are the beings that we are in the present moment, and that's all there is to it, really, at the end of the day. We could put ourselves in boxes, and those boxes can allow us to understand the stereotypes of an individual, but a stereotype only gets you so far on the surface. There's, real depth to, I think, all the human beings on this planet.
Yeah, I totally agree. And it's I'm glad you say that, because to me, this pie chart is about sticking people in boxes, and it's unfair, because you can't tell someone that they're less than, or that, because technically on the pie chart, have you seen them?
I have not.
Okay. Oh, I should have had it for you, and I apologize. I hope you're going to come back another time.
I'd be happy to.
It's so great. Oh my God.
You ask a politician to go on to the TV, he will say yes.
I love it. But to me, you're way more than a politician. You are a public servant, and you are
absolutely. I see them two in the same.
Yes.
Politician has become this pejorative in this modern era of politics, but politics at its core is just this: having conversations with one another to determine what our town, city, state, and country are going to look like. Yes, those are hard, sometimes rancorous conversations, but they don't need to be inherently rancorous, which is what I think they've become. And so people say, "Oh, you do politics?" I don't want to hear it. I was at a bar in DC, and someone said, because I had a friend who wanted to take a photo, and she said, "Are you famous?" I must have just looked good or something like that. It was just a friend. I said, "No, he was just a friend, but I am a local politician." She went, "Oh, okay, great." And she turned around and walked away. And I think that's the reaction that people, which is a totally justifiable reaction given who the politicians in the modern era are.
Yeah.
But I think what I'm trying to do here in politics is restore people's faith in what is the system that is available to every single one of the citizens here in this country and in this state to participate in and build the communities that they'd like to see.
I love it. And, that is exactly why I keep saying I just want to empower more people so that they have their voice at City Hall and at the state level.
Absolutely.
And show them the way. But I'm never going to tell anyone how to vote. To me, it's like we need to vote from our heart and facts.
Right.
And I will, so it's like, I always say, come to City Hall, speak up, and hold all of us accountable. Because I'm like, it doesn't matter if you're a Republican or Democrat or Independent. We don't know what's going on in your neighborhood unless you
come
share
and tell
it.
us.
Yeah. And then let us help you take the reins.
Right.
Because, and people think that you can do so much, and then all of a sudden you get the blocks as a person in the political world or public servant. The system is a little stuck. We need to.
There's some gunk on the machine.
Yes. And we need to get off the hamster wheel, which I feel like has been the rat wheel. It's become the rat wheel. And I just want to bring more common sense, more kindness, just more transparency to our government, our local government, and how to do that.
100%.
And I really appreciate you coming in, and appreciate my producer changing our times to make this happen, because you are in committee up at the State House. You just had committee. You drove down here, so thank you. And then you're driving up right away.
Right. So we had bill hearings. So I was running around the legislature, and then made it here, and then I'll be going back and finishing off our bill hearings on 3:30 hearing. So
the 3:30 hearing.
3:30 hearing, and then I have I've got a couple of hearings that I got to get to this afternoon. But it's a lot more physical a job than they tell you it is when they first run for office.
That's exactly it. You don't know until you get in, and you're like, all right, what's behind these curtains? All right, how does
Where's
this
the
really
Oz
work?
man?
Yes. And it's on the go. You've got to be well aware.
Yes, you do. Yeah.
So I went up last week and this week. I think it was last week. Yes, last week and this week. Senator Victoria Sullivan. I love. She represents me, and so she told me about a couple bills, and that I'm very passionate about, that she's put forth, is the pickle bill. So pretty much, that this way everyone can homestead, whether you live in Manchester. We'll all be equal.
Right.
So for me, it's like crazy. Why can you know, the people in Hooksett pickle, but Manchester, we can't pickle. I'm like, give me a break. And when
Yeah.
you ask the city, you know, and I'm not saying people don't have a tough job,
Right.
but when you ask the city, like, well, what's the danger? Oh, botulism. Well, botulism, there's been no cases with pickling. And his response was, oh, well, it's in this baby formula. I'm like, well, that's processed food or processed formula. So pickling natural things that we have been doing for decades. My mom, I said this, so I was able to go up and give testimony. It is nerve-wracking to public speak. I always like want to write something up, think about the points. Eventually, I'll just be able to bullet once my nerves are a little less. But I did share the fact that the day, you know, Daniel Mowry, the pickle man. So he's from Ward 6,
Okay.
and he got a cease and desist order from the health
I
department.
did hear about that.
Okay, so he's the one, and he's a good friend of mine, and I'm like, we should be freeing the pickle man and freeing all the homesteaders so that we can pickle, bake, and everything.
Right.
I will give a kudos to our health department. They did allow people to do the baking, but not the pickling. So that's why I went up to the House to testify on that. I did share the fact that my mom called me that morning when she heard about how homesteading in Manchester has been illegal. She's like, to think that I have been illegal for all these decades. And to hear that from my mom, I was like, you know, she's a law and order kind of woman. And it was like, yeah, can you believe that? You can't pickle or create jams and even give them to someone.
Right.
Like, that's ridiculous. And so how do you feel about that?
Well, I mean, I'm on the House Environment and Agriculture Committee, so we deal with the food safety issues in the state, and I have been somebody who has generally been very supportive of allowing individuals to make the food themselves. We have here in New Hampshire an agricultural history, and to disrespect that history by restricting through in some cases pretty frivolous regulations people's ability to make food at their house. I've been a representative who's willing to vote against those policies and procedures. I mean, the Department of Health and Human Services, I think, does a good job.
Yes.
They've got a hard job. Food safety is
Definitely
tough.
hard.
People who manufacture food sometimes try to cut corners to make it easier for them to sell. We want to have a entity in the state that makes sure that the things that are on the marketplace are safe.
Right.
And I support that, and I support their mission.
Me too.
But I think sometimes they come to us because of that mission so ardently against things which would help our local farmers, our local producers, and things like that, boost the economy of all these different local farmers markets and things, which are the spirit of New Hampshire. I mean, we in Peterborough do a farmers market every Wednesday. It's inside right now. It'll be outside when this weather gets better, and you can go, you can get your meats, you can get your mushrooms, you can get your whatever you need.
Wow.
And it's there right in the parking lot of the bowling alley or in the armory of I don't know where they are right now, actually. I think the armory is being updated. But nonetheless, that is what New Hampshire is all about, is that local exchange of goods.
Yeah.
And if we as a state restrict that by saying, oh, you have to have a commercial kitchen in order to produce food, which is what a lot of these regulations in effect do, where you have to have tens of thousands of dollars worth of equipment to meet the standards that are set out in the law. And is that about food safety so much as it is about monopolization of the market, you know, stopping these local producers from coming forward? So whether it's pickles or jams or goat milk or whatever it might be, people, I think, have a right, eggs, absolutely, have a right to produce that food. I mean, I live in a house right now. We've got goats, chickens, and ducks and rabbits. And so there's, you know, when you get food like that, when you're so close to the food that you're eating, you have a sense of appreciation for what it takes to grow that food. And a lot of the farmers here do a good job. And if a farmer does a bad job, the community will know about it because they're selling to the community and they're right there. They know them. And if someone gets a bad pickle, that farmer will hear about it.
Yes, word of mouth.
Word of mouth is powerful.
Travels fast.
It's very powerful. So I've been supportive of, you know, making
that.
sure that we can do local food. partly, as you said,
Yeah.
because here DHHS is railing against local farmers for the potential, just the mere potential that
Yes.
something could go wrong. But at the same time, you have very multinational corporations, huge corporations, making food with poison.
Right.
Absolute abject poison. Slow poison. It's not going to kill you immediately,
Right.
but it's slow poison. It's going to make you sick and absolutely destroy your constitution as an individual.
Yeah.
But that's fine.
And how
Eat
is
it.
that?
Oreos, it's fine. It's good. That's. So I think people they have a justified reaction to a world where the store, you go into the grocery store, 98% of it is poison. And you
Yeah.
can really, if you look hard, find the good stuff. And then they're told, oh, I can't make local pickles. They're upset.
Yeah.
And it's not left, it's not right. We want to go back to a world where we can make local food, exchange goods locally, and do so with the health that comes from that. I mean, it's not about stopping all farmers, but it's about making sure that there's that balance there between food safety for all and then the local producers.
Yes. I love it. I love it. And thank you so much. All right, so I'll have to head out to Peterborough and come to
the farmers market.
Come to your farmers market. We'll do a Chill and Heal live.
Sounds good.
So we can walk around. I actually went up to, in Concord, they have a great farmers market in the summertime. And so I said to some people in Manchester, I'm like, why do we not have it here?
You don't have a farmers market here?
No,
Wow.
we did a while back, but then all of a sudden it disappeared. So all these great things that disappear, I'm like, we need to bring it back.
Yeah.
And then people get to do local things, and they can become entrepreneurs, or they can just take care of their family by feeding them. Food is. It's a gift from your heart, your soul.
Absolutely.
And
there's nothing better than giving someone a
Right.
meal to eat and then seeing a smile
Yes.
on their face. Absolutely.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm like, all right, we need to do that. So I will have to maybe we'll come. Maybe I'll do
in the
the indoor
springtime,
one.
We'll bring you out to Peterborough and we'll
Yeah.
show you what it's like. It's
That
a very
sounds-
beautiful small little town.
Oh my
It is. It
God,
really
I
is.
love it. I love it. All right, so we'll definitely do that. Trying to think. So Wheel of Power and Privilege. What's your nationality?
Well, my mother is from Jaffrey, so
Okay.
the Wheeler Grenier side of
Yeah.
the family, which is my mother's father and mother, are both from Jaffrey. So I
Yeah.
have a lot of historical connection to that
Yeah.
town, which is sort of funny being in Peterborough. If you're in the Monadnock region,
Yeah.
you know that Jaffrey and Peterborough, Jaffrey was always the working class town. Peterborough
Yeah.
was always sort of the snooty artistic
Yeah.
town. But here I am in Peterborough, and my father is Gambian, and so I have French, Canadian, Dutch descent on my mother's side, and then on my father's side it's Gambian. And I guess his father, my grandfather, was a member of the First Republic in Gambia, and so I guess it's sort of in the blood to be in politics and things like that.
I love it.
Yeah.
Leader,
Something like that,
servant, leader. That's amazing. That's amazing.
Thank you.
That is beautiful. And I think that in America, we are a melting pot. And our DNA is, I feel like even if we don't live with our parents, we still carry their DNA and I say that because I always wondered where my extra spice came from. French Canadian. My dad was raised Jewish. I was raised Jewish, but I would be like on fire. And then all of a sudden I realized, have you ever seen the Latin History for I think it's a Latin History for Morons.
No.
Oh my God.
I'll have to watch it.
It's so funny. I learned about it. John Legumes. He's a comedian, actor, and he shared about, oh my gosh, I wish I remembered exactly what this was, but he was on Broadway. It was a one-man skit play, and I went a bunch of times because I was like, I learned so much about my blood line and where the fire and the soul and being a fighter really comes from. Like, why am I so passionate about certain things? Even though I was like raised and both of my parents were passionate about different things, but it was just a little different. Does that make sense?
It does. I mean, we are, a compilation of thousands of people who gave birth and had relations to bring us to this present moment.
Yeah.
And all of their genes, DNA, it's all
Yeah.
embedded in every cell of our being. And so,
Yeah.
what they've done and what they did and who they were absolutely affects where we are right now in this present moment. We are the culmination of all these different ancestors walking alongside us in this present moment.
Yeah, it is. It's really, to me, it's mind-blowing, and then bringing in our own personal experiences and trying to navigate with purpose in this world where they want us divided. And I say they. Who are they? I'm going to go the globalists. The people, because it's all about the money.
Yeah.
That's how I look at it.
Yeah, follow the money.
Follow the money, and for me, I'm like, you can't buy me. It's just impossible.
Right.
I'm just like, no, I'm not going to. And for me, I'm like, hashtag no label. I know we talked about that last time, because I'm like, remember when I said, I'm a real Republican, but then I'm JFK Democrat. Like, I love what RFK Jr. is doing right now with all of the getting the toxins out of our foods in our uncensoring. Like, no one should be censored. Do you know what I'm saying?
I do, yeah.
It's like what someone experiences. Like, every doctor's different, and every patient is different, and everyone should be sharing, and no one should be censored.
Yeah.
So that's where I'm like against censorship, and I'm about real conversation. And then then you evolve into figure out all right, what works for one might not work for the other, and that's why I love our live free or die state.
Right.
And the mindset, and that's where it's so important to For me, I'm like, I love being an alderman, but it's had its challenges, and especially when you don't, whatever you call, comply or whatever, or they want you to zip your mouth or whatever, you get vilified, or they want to twist your words.
Yeah.
It's heavy. It's heavy, and I think it's one of those things that's like we have to overcome, navigate, shake things off, not take things personally.
Right.
But how do you do it? I mean, because you have gone against your party a few times. And to me, I'm like, it shouldn't be about our parties. It should be, we work for the people of our area.
That's how I see the legislature, and that's how the legislature is supposed to be, where, as many have said, it's about your constituency, your conscience, and then at the very last, your party. Some people put conscience first, some people put constituency second. One of the two, they're sort of interchangeable,
Yeah.
If you're
Kind of
if you're
blend.
doing right, you told your constituency your conscience in the election, and so the two are almost one and the same.
Yeah.
But the party comes last.
Yes.
The party comes last. You don't have an obligation to a private organization that has destroyed this country. Both of them, the Democratic Party and the Republican parties, have become calcified corporate organizations to shell money through and elect patsies in order to destroy the country, subvert the country, I should say, I suppose. And like you said, the wheel of privilege and power is prevalent here in New Hampshire. I mean, it's not exactly as obvious as it was maybe 20 years ago, but this is a state where largely the political battle is between the Shaheens, which is a more establishment liberal side of the elite, and the Sununu's, which is a more neoconservative establishment side of the Republican Party. Those two, yes, have their clashes, but are at the end of the day, I think, working in tandem with one another because they have similar economic interests. The corporations, which are their donors, are the same, and many of the wealthy people who give them money as well are the same too. So the large landowners here in the state and the big developers and these people with wealth and privilege, I mean, that automatically gives you an open door for the corporate politicians that have been elected to serve in the constitutionally obligated roles that we've allowed them to do. How do we change that? I mean, it's just having people like you, like me, out there who are unbought, unsold. I like to say I'm an idiot for free. Everything that I say, I don't have to worry about, even if I'm wrong and I get, which bound to happen. All of us are wrong on something.
I totally admit it. I have no
That's
problem.
exactly
I'm
right.
like, hey, I don't know everything.
Exactly. I'll go back and I'll say I was wrong. And I can do it confidently with my conscience because I'm not saying anything that anyone wants me to say. I'm saying what I know to be true.
Yeah.
And I think the more that we get elected politicians who genuinely care about the role that they were elected to, the constitutional obligation that they have, I think that we'll start to see the system change very quickly. And directly how what's keeping me in politics.
Yeah, what is?
I think
I know we have 2 minutes, so definitely.
That's a good point.
Yes.
The New Hampshire State House of Representatives has the most transparent foundation of any legislature in the world. It's got the most open, honest foundation of any legislature in the world. And if we elect a Speaker of the House who understands the constitutional obligations, spending the money in a fiscally responsible way, and restarting the mechanics of the body so that the gunk that has lowered the standards such that the majority of members, their first priority is how do I get home fast enough. Raising those standards, removing the gunk, and getting the system to work again, regardless of how corrupted the state senate is or corrupted the governorship is. If the legislature and the 170th General Court of this state elects a speaker who is strong, consistent, and understands the constitutional obligations, regardless of party, regardless of where they are in the system, regardless of their chairmanships and this and that, then we will save this state. I'm confident of it because it's not going to happen overnight. But we will start the ball rolling of saving this state. People will feel once again that their legislature is working for them, and they will come out to testify. They will start paying attention a little bit more and seeing the mechanics of the state and the fact that they have every much of a say as anyone else does in this place. And whether you're a developer who's got all these buildings throughout the state, or just somebody working at Dunkin' Donuts who's lived here their entire life, you too have an equal say in the legislature and what policies are passed.
Which is amazing.
Yeah.
So, Jonah, thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Chrissy.
Thank you so
My
much for
pleasure.
joining
Anytime.
me. And we're going to live free and chill. And you can check out Jonah Wheeler at jonahwheeler.com. And thank you so much.
Thank
Let's
you.
chill on.